Hello, everyone. I'm Governor Jim Justice. It's really, really an important day, important look at our country, an important look at our future, especially important for kids. You know, I wish so much, when I was growing up, I had the opportunity to watch something like this. This is a casting of our electoral votes in West Virginia. We have 5, and we're going to do that right now. The governor's got to sign. Several people have to sign. There's an agenda here that is, you're going to listen to our great Secretary of State, Mike Warner, tell us all about that. But I want to make sure and look real quickly here, to see if there's anything that we're missing. But today we are fulfilling our civic duty to our country. And it is a very, very important event. Like I said, we have 5 electoral votes. We're going to cast those in just a few moments here, and I'm going to be signing, and I hope so many school kids are able to watch this and watch what we do. This will be what I'm signing. Right now I'll be signing up here. We'll be casting our ballot. We'll be writing in that and this, and I'll sign right down here along with many others. But nevertheless, if Secretary Warner will take over from there, Mac, you've got the show. I'm just following behind you today.
Thank you so much, Governor. Really appreciate that introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Governor Justice, for hosting today's electoral ceremony, and to all the West Virginians who have tuned in to witness this important moment in West Virginia and United States history. I'm joined today by electors Paul Hartling and his wife Linda, Gary Duncan and his wife Ann, Beth Bloch and her husband Tom, and Louis Rexroad, as well as the chairman of the Republican Party, Melody Potter. So thanks to each of you for being with us today. Today's ceremony recognizes the gathering of electors who will decide West Virginia's votes for President of the United States of America. Contrary to public opinion and popular opinion, the U.S. is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Our founding fathers had concern over the passions, the distortions, and the excesses that could arise from a pure popular vote. And so they also wanted to recognize the importance of states into the process, as we are the United States of America, not the United People of America. So it's historically interesting to note that in our first presidential election, rather than by popular vote, 6 of 10 states legislatures appointed the electors to the Electoral College. In our second presidential election, 9 of 15 states did so. And in our third presidential election, 9 of 16 states did not hold popular elections for the electors for the Electoral College. Thus, the Electoral College goes back to the founding of our country. And our Constitution put this process into place. We are simply following that historical precedent set into place over 200 years ago. West Virginia has 5 electors, and you see them here today. You've already seen the governor, and in a few minutes you will see as we sign the other electors to this process. They represent West Virginia's contribution to the Electoral College. Now, the Electoral College has 538 members in total, of which West Virginia has 5. A majority of 270 is needed to win the presidency. Our 5 electors, as are the other states, the numbers are chosen by the total number in the congressional delegation. So here in West Virginia, we have 3 House of Representatives and 2 state senators for a total of 5. That's what you're going to be witnessing today, is those 5 electors voting for president. Now, each presidential candidate has their own group of electors, and each state has its own process for choosing those electors. In West Virginia, our electors were chosen earlier this summer in a political process by the parties. It's up to the parties as to how the electors are chosen. So when West Virginia voters cast their ballots on November 3rd, they were actually choosing the candidates' electors who will cast the state's electoral votes today. West Virginia and federal law do not require that the electors vote faithfully for the presidential candidate chosen by the majority of the state's voters, but the political parties in West Virginia typically require the presidential electors to swear an oath to vote for the candidate chosen by the majority of the voters. In accordance with U.S. Code, the electors meet on the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December of an election year, and that is today, December 14th, to cast their ballots formally for president and vice president. What you will witness during this ceremony is a process, and there are 3 steps to this process. The first step actually took place Thursday of last week when we proclaimed the official vote totals after the 55 counties had certified the results of the November 3rd election. That was called the ascertainment of electors. Those documents have already been signed, so step 1 has already been completed. We are about ready to engage in steps 2 and 3. Step 2 is the actual individual casting of the Electoral College votes. And step 3 is the collective, that is the West Virginia certification of votes. Because the majority of the West Virginia voters voted for Republican President Donald J. Trump, electors chosen at the 2020 Republican State Convention last summer will cast their electoral votes for Republican candidates President Donald J. Trump and Vice President Michael R. Pence. Once the collective document is signed, the commemorative copies will be provided to each of the West Virginia members voting in the Electoral College, and the certificate of vote will be sent to the Honorable Michael R. Pence, President of the U.S. Senate, to be counted on January 6th, 2021. And copies will also be sent to the Archivist of the United States and to the Honorable Thomas E. Johnston, Chief Judge of the U.S. Southern District of West Virginia. Inauguration Day is January 20th, 2021. So without any further ado, I will pass out the individual ballots to the electors in this room, as well as the governor will be signing his, and they will then cast their votes individually as Electoral College members.
Okay.
While we are awaiting the arrival from the governor's office, I will read one of these so the public is aware of what has just been signed. This says the Electoral College ballot for West Virginia, December 14th, 2020. This is typical. I, Paul Hartling, an elector for the state of West Virginia, do hereby cast my vote for Donald J. Trump for President of the United States and Michael R. Pence for Vice President of the United States. He then signed, and I will now sign as Secretary of State for each of those individual ballots. And I have ascertained that each of the electors did vote for Donald J. Trump for president and Michael Pence for vice president, as did the governor. So having the 5 electoral individual ballots now having been cast, I will move to the third step of the process, and that is the certificate of vote. The state of West Virginia, certificate of vote. We, the electors, for president and vice president of the United States. Ratified at the 2020 Republican State Convention in Charleston, West Virginia on June 20, 2020. Certified that we assembled in the office of the governor, state capitol, Charleston, West Virginia on December 14th, 2020, and voted as follows. For president, Donald J. Trump, number of votes, 5. For vice president, Michael R. Pence, number of votes, 5. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the great seal of the state of West Virginia to be affixed. Done at the Capitol in the city of Charleston, West Virginia, this 14th day of December in the year of our Lord, 2020, in the 158th year of our state, signed by the following electors: Louis Rexroad, Elizabeth Bloch, Governor James C. Justice, Paul Hartling, and Gary Duncan. At this point, I'll have you sign the certificate of vote, please. The final step in this process is for me to validate the signatures on this certificate of vote as Secretary of State. And with that, now the 2020 general election in the state of West Virginia is now complete, with the Electoral College having cast their ballots. I thank each one of you for your service. Thank you, Melody, as the chairman of the party. Thanks for all those in attendance. Thank you again, Governor. And I will turn this back over. We will be answering any media questions outside the Capitol in a few moments. But again, thank you for your attention to this very important matter. Thank you.
No, Mr. Secretary, thank you, and thank you all for all those great electors that were there, and thank you, West Virginia, for all of us being able to enjoy being able to see this. Especially, I hope that a bunch of kids got to be able to see this process, a process that our nation has put in place many decades ago. And so, with all that being said, it's a great day for America. We're going to get through this pandemic, and it's a great day for America. Thank you for all joining in.